When did you find out that Nikki would be back, and how did you react knowing that now she's going to get to come back?
I was thrilled when I got a phone call that we were going to make another movie, but also that I had a part in it. It had been 8 or 9 years since Bourne Ultimatum, and in that time, consistently, strangers on the street and journalists that I would talk to, many people would say to me, "When are you going to make another one? When are you going to make another one?" And I had given up trying to predict, but it felt like this time around there's really an appetite for this movie, so I was very grateful that I had a role in it.
Obviously, we catch up with her a few years later, sort of down the line from where we left her before. Did you discuss at all with Paul, or did you have in your head some idea of what she'd been up to and how she'd been spending her time?
Well, I had a lot of discussions with Paul about what to do with Nikki, because we had basically two choices. She had been left in hiding in the intervening years, and she could easily have just been someone that is just trying to survive and stay low. Instead, Paul really wanted to make a bolder choice, which was to make her more rebellious and defiant, and so disillusioned with the CIA that she wants to leak information, which to me was really exciting because it's more active and bolder, but also very relevant to things that have happened in the world.
So with her new sort of Snowden-esque aspect to her, did you dig into anything? Obviously we've all heard the, releases, the WikiLeaks, everything like that. Did you dig into that sort of world, and did it scare you to learn what people are saying and what they can do these days?
Well, Paul really encouraged me to watch Citizen 4 about Snowden, and he gave me, but also not have it strictly be about that. So he also gave me a book called Why It's Kicking Off Everywhere that was more about ideological revolutions and how the internet and social media has helped them. I read a lot about Anonymous, the hacker group that, but I needed to find a way, instead of just, that's all very intellectual and very much, as if you can watch the news, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to, portray a character in any way that feels human and familiar. So to me, I tried to seize on, her ideology and how, as I said, she'd become disillusioned with the CIA and wanted to make a change.
So to follow up to that, is Nikki a character you find easy to get into that headspace again for? Is she easy to find even after a few years away from her?
It was interesting because going back, it's not really going back to the same character. She's evolved so much that that it was not difficult to. I felt like finally I get to have her be matured, and also the circumstances of her being in hiding means that she has very little to lose. So in some ways she's very fearless, and that was so refreshing for me because in previous movies, although those were interesting too, she's like the good soldier just taking orders.
How was it sort of getting back together and working with Matt again? Obviously, you guys have a background with the Bourne movies. It must have been kind of fun just to be able to interact a bit more directly again this time.
Oh, it was great. Matt's wonderful. I would rely on him a lot when we were shooting for guidance, because the scope of these movies are so big that I know that Paul Greengrass has a lot on his plate, and there might be little things in a scene, in the midst of a riot scene with 600 extras. You don't want to be the person to mess up. So I would turn to Matt and just check in and make sure that see what his thoughts were and if I wasn't feeling comfortable in a scene, and he was very helpful.
Obviously, Paul is a man that can orchestrate those sorts of things with incredible efficiency and with incredible style. How was it just to come back and work with him again?
Oh, amazing. He's working for Paul Greengrass is like a masterclass in directing. He does a lot of the work for you, meaning he sets up 180 degrees of reality, and so you have the opportunity to react to things that are actually going on. You have to always assume that you're on camera because he doesn't shoot traditionally over the shoulder, close up, wide shots. You can be. I've had many times where working for him, you are doing a chase scene, running down a really long hallway, and you turn a corner and you think that's cut, and you can kind of chill out, and then quickly you realize that they're still rolling and there are 5 other cameras around.
Obviously, the big scene that you're in is the big Greek riot scene. It's an intense, crazy scene. How much did they let you do, and how much did you want to do in terms of, you know, running around and doing crazy things?
All of aside from the stuff on the motorbike, I did all the running through the crowd because it was actually really, really safe. Like, I'm amazed at how they organized that. It was literally the definition of controlled chaos, because with that many people shouting and throwing rocks and tear gas and, you know, people dressed as riot cops, the amount of energy in that could so easily escalate and become chaotic. Plus, imagine trying to call cut and have everybody quiet down. It's really hard. But they did it, and it was choreographed and organized, like, impeccably, so.
And to go in completely the opposite direction, how is it making tapping away at the keyboard look authentic? You know, look like you've been doing that for years and just doing this kind of thing. Do you have to exercise your fingers to be ready and nimble?
No. The trick for me, first of all, I call it clickety-clackety. Actually, that's a Paul Greengrass term, which is the intense computer action. I often would type "the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog" because it involves every letter of the alphabet. But I didn't have to do that much clickety-clackety in this movie. It was so fun for Nikki to get out and be running around and punching people.
Okay, thank you very much.